this is my responsibility.
Yeah.
I don't hold any like grudge to my band, like I can't do that, but they can. Like I don't, it's fine.
Cold shoulder, won't you please just hear me out? Hear me out. I can't let go, fading away.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Alex, your host of The New Rock Show and Alex Lycia Media. Today I am joined by a wicked alt rock band that you need to know about. They've got a debut EP on the way this September and I really can't wait to talk to them all about it ahead of time. So joining me from across the pond, it's the wonderful Caden and Parker from Texas band Olivox.
What's up?
Hey, what's up? How are you?
So
Hello.
happy.
It's so good to have you guys on the channel and welcome to the show. The New Rock Show is where I play so many emerging bands from all over the world, and I was so excited when I first came across Olivox, and that is the genuine truth. I've been playing a couple of your recent singles on the show and I was really excited to be able to set this up and talk with you today. And I just wondered, for anybody that might be new to your band, who is Olivox? What is something about your band that you would love for the audience listening or watching today to know?
Um,
Uh,
I think we're just one big group of guys who all love each other as people, and we just like making music. I think our main passion in this whole thing is the music itself, and everything else kind of comes second. So for us, it's all music, and me and Parker grew up together, so we've been doing this lives.
it's a brother band. We got, Cade and I are brothers, so there is like that dynamic that goes into it. So it's pretty fun. It's like working with your family, and you got your other homies in the band as well. So it's just like a big, family at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I noticed obviously when we were setting this up today, that you're on the PST time zone. I know that you're Californians yourselves, but the band is based in
Hmm.
Texas and your other
Yeah.
members are from Texas too. And
Hmm.
I just wondered, growing up in both of those areas, what was it like discovering music for you? Did your surroundings have an impact on your music, your vibe, your aesthetic? Do you feel like it did have an impact?
Yeah, I feel like that goes for everybody though. I feel like location is a big part of it, Like I feel like at our core, Caden and I are like deeply connected to California, but I feel Texas is so drastically different from California because the United States is so huge.
Hmm.
So like it's almost like Texas in of itself is, they kind of view it as like their own country in a way. So it's just kind of, yeah, I definitely think it did play a part in how the band developed and, where we are now. But, I feel it would have been completely different if we, stayed in California, lived in California. So, yeah, location played a huge part.
Yeah, for sure. And like obviously being brothers, you grew up together, like you say, and I know like I've watched a couple of interviews that you've done already in the past, and I know that you credit your parents for
Hmm.
being inspirations behind some of the bands you grew up listening to. I know you listen to local radio. But
Hmm.
what I love most about your band Olivox is you can hear all those different influences in there. There's a mixed mash of genres in your band. There's a little bit of something for everyone. It's heavy at times, like the heavier rock, and then you've got the alternative stuff and a bit of
Hmm.
punk in there too. And I just really love that about your band. Was that a conscious decision that you wanted to like mix and mash up loads of genres that you grew up listening to, or was it a case of that just happened to be your sound and you just went with it?
Yeah,
Ego thing.
everything's kind of led up to this point. Like you said, like when you're a kid, you don't necessarily have an identity yet, so your parents do play a big role if they are into music. For in our case, they were heavily into music, heavily into 90s inspirations from both mom and my dad's side.
Yeah.
um, but as you grow up, you kind of find your own niche, and like one of the first bands that I just fell in love with, like from the earliest I could remember, was Cage the Elephant. Like it was the first band that I was like, this is what I want to do. So it definitely stemmed from alternative rock and that whole vibe. But as we got older, we got into more heavier stuff. And now at this point, I just feel like we're kind of a big mash of everything that we listen to. And it really depends on, the songs that we produce really come from what we're listening to in this time frame. So you could definitely hear the influence from this EP that's about to drop is definitely everything we were listening to in that time period. And now this time period, it's like we have a whole new, you know,
Yeah.
So we're never really contained to one sound. It's
Yeah.
always whatever we want to do, and that's just how we like doing it, you know.
Yeah, we just like having fun, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. You mentioned Cage the Elephant as well, so I'm assuming that's where the incredible cover came from. It's so iconic because I love the fact that you've made that heavier, and I just thought that was really cool. Just on that note, like, is there something maybe, you know, speaking about influences and stuff or the band you like, is there something left field that maybe you would love to kind of do a cover of that people wouldn't expect from Olive Ox? Do you ever think
Oh,
about it?
Yeah, no, I honestly, as like, I don't know, Generation Z, I've seen a lot of people in our kind of age group coming up, and there's so much cool stuff going on in the electronic scene as well. Like, I mean,
yeah.
like groups like The Help and Two Hollis, like I really
Mm.
enjoy just like where it's going, and like I feel like it'd be pretty cool to kind of put a rock spin on something that's current and new and try to almost tie it in together, because I feel like music
Yeah.
now, anything and everything that is cool as long as it's good, you know. So it's
Yeah. The Help is super cool because like the lead singer, like the guy who be singing, I actually don't know the dynamic too much, so like I can't speak on that. But I know whoever sings has that kind of like rock essence to their voice, you know? So it's like already it's kind of, I guess, like genre bending in a way. It's obviously electronic, but like it
Yeah.
has rock influence. It's really cool. It's
Yeah.
very unique. I love him.
Yeah, it's already got that vibe. It's kind of like they're waiting for you to do it. So maybe one day in the
Mhm.
future, it might
Yeah.
appear. Olivox doing the help. That'd be great. But what is
Yeah.
appearing is your brand new debut EP. I can't wait to talk to you
Yeah.
all about it. We'll get into it in a second. But just before we do, you also mentioned about how fun it is, you know, being able to just like do your thing in this band musically. And I can imagine it's such an incredible time to be a part of your band right now. I wanted to know, like, how much fun are you actually having in Olivox, in the sense of, did you always picture this being your path? Because you've been doing some really, really epic things. I mean, of course, the EP's come in, but I saw you were even playing the Whiskey the other day in LA, and it's such an iconic venue. And, you know, you got to play that. You've been out on the road with Badflower, who I know really well. And it's just like you've been, and all the millions of streams as well, and the millions of views. What a wild time to be a part of Olivox right now.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I feel like, you know, at least on behalf of like half of the band, you know, obviously because we are brothers, we grew up in a very musical family. So I think like music has always been a pretty big part of our lives. So now that like things have begun to like develop in ways that, you know, are beneficial to us, and like we're touring with like some really cool bands. We're also going on tour with this 90s band called the Toadies coming up here in a couple days. It's very satisfying, and it's like, you know, I feel that both Caden and myself have always kind of been like music has always been our thing, you know. It's like in our blood, you know, so it's really cool.
really just like one big manifestation of,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a real thing. Like if you know, we've never really had a doubt in our head it's going to be something that we were into, and you
Yeah.
know, the most like systematic thinking type of people. Like we really just like the arts for the arts, and I feel like that's why we're alive as humans, is just to create. So
Yeah.
it's
Sure.
Yeah.
there's no question this is what we want to do, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, what you're doing is so cool. Seriously, it's so wicked. I love your band, and I love your whole energy, your whole vibe, the sound, of course. And let's talk a little bit about it, because your debut EP, which is super special because it's a debut, is like it's just so cool. It's 6 tracks, so it's out on the 18th of September, right? Trace it back. Please tell me what people have got coming with this EP. Like, what is in store?
It's gonna be
Uh,
awesome. It's gonna be really cool. There's a whole different, so really in this EP, you're gonna get pretty much all the kind of flavors of where we were at writing this, and
Mhm.
definitely songs that reflect more of other things, even lyrically for this EP. We just really chose to put our all into it, but also chose to not think about the audience for the first time, which was interesting, you know, because like usually as an artist, kind of finding your sound, you have this tendency to like want to get out there to people, but you think of it in the way of like wanting to please people's ears, and that's just something we realized that we needed to kind of let go of. And sort of step into just what we wanted as people, and the rest would
Mhm.
follow. We're hoping that, you know, people are going to love it, but at the end of the day, we love it. So
Yeah, it's cool. I feel that like, as we develop and like move forward as a band, like who knows, maybe like 10 years from now, looking back on this one, I think it's going to be like a very like crucial staple in like, the band's development, finding our sound, because I think that's what it was. It's like, for the first time, it's like, okay, we need to do something that we want to do, and we went ahead and did that. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, I think it's like a self-expression journey. That's what we were doing, And even with this new one that I'm not going to talk about, we got a bunch of unreleased stuff, but that one's super cool. I think like really found ourselves,
there's just so much
Okay.
works. There's so
Yeah.
much lined up, and it's just
Yeah.
we're super excited.
Yeah. So,
Oh
Parker,
yeah.
you were talking about a specific song that's obviously not being released yet that really
Hmm.
is that for you, is like you guys just
Yeah.
being your true selves. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're sitting on a bunch of unreleased stuff, and it's kind of like what I was saying, like this album, like the whole Trace It Back EP and all that, I feel is like the catalyst to where we are moving in the direction of, currently. So it's like super cool. Like I feel the people who will listen to this and then possibly listen to our other releases down the line could like hear the progression. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
really cool.
No, that's wicked. What I love as well is like you've just said, like that's courageous, and I really respect you for that. That you kind of, like you say, you've gone into this and been so honest and true to yourselves instead of kind of like you
Hmm.
say thinking about trying to capture a particular audience or people that like certain genres and go, well, if you like this band, you'll love us. Naturally that's going to come anyway because people might
Yeah.
go, oh, I already like this genre of music and I like a bit of that, so I'll listen to these. But like lyrically, I couldn't help but notice from the things I've heard so far that you
Hmm.
really are capturing such honest emotions in like the human condition of anxiety and
Hmm.
like regrets and just things like that that I think we
Hmm.
can all relate to. But it is really brave of you to do that, and I just
Hmm.
wondered, we talk a lot with bands about what the audience will get from an EP release or an album release, but what did
Hmm.
you get from it making this one? Did it feel like a therapy session in a way?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely like the way I look at it is like, yeah, I don't know. Therapy sometimes could be like super expensive,
Oh, God.
and then like, because everything you got to pay for out here. So it's like, uh, in a way, when you're performing, it's like when you go in to have therapy, you talk about something and you find ways to overcome it and like develop as an individual. But for a lot of people, like just talking about it helps. And I also like find that to be a part of like my truth. Like whenever I talk about stuff or like things I'm going through with people, like it really helps, and I kind of like tend to move on from it. So going into the EP and just like writing the lyrics, I was just like, I'm gonna take a step back from being like artsy and like try to be all like, into the imagery and all that, and just kind of like write like a more honest, you know, black and white version of, I don't know. Like, yeah, but like when you perform it like every day for almost a month to in front of like thousands of people, you kind of like are having that therapy session in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like people are like resonating with it, and like people also are like, I really like these lyrics, so it's cool. It's like, you feel validated in that way because not only people are like low key forced to listen to you, but they also like respect what you're saying. So it's really cool. It's a cool dynamic, and yeah, it's very interesting. Mhm.
I honestly, I think you should be so proud of it. I mean, how
Mhm.
proud are you of this EP? What
Mhm.
kind of thoughts and feelings come to mind as we lead up to the release? What's
Mhm.
it like in Olivox camp right now?
Yeah, it's great over here. We are super excited for the EP because what people don't like realize within music is like behind the scenes, like we've been sitting on these songs for like a year and a half. Some of these
Mhm.
were written way before we even thought about recording it. So these songs have been kind of floating around and have been ideas, but now they're fully catalyzed ideas and they're recorded and they're put onto record. And so It's just kind of that moment of like, okay, everything is coming together, no matter how long it took. It's still, it's been years that we've been working on this stuff, because stuff takes time. And so I think we're really excited to be finally putting it out, and
Yeah.
they're finally going to hear them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you
It's
got
cool.
it? Have you got any plans for release day? Because I know you'll probably be on the road, won't you? I don't know if you've got. Do you have a show on release day? Because I know you said you're out on the road, aren't you, from August real soon through to October. So do you plan to kind of celebrate the release together on the road, or?
Yeah, I mean, we always sell whenever I like. I'm gonna be honest, I'm so bad. I don't know like the exact day because I've been running around like crazy today. But if it does fall on a day that we are playing a show, we always tend to, have fun, but not,
Yeah.
nothing irresponsibly because we also have like a few more, shows under our belt. That's like the worst thing is whenever it's like you get too excited and too carried away, and then it's like the
Mhm.
next morning you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I have a show today. You know what I mean? So yeah, not partying too hard.
Mm.
But yes, there will be some form of celebration.
Oh, of course, and it'd be so well deserved. And it's a debut. At the end of the day, that's super special. You can only do that once, so that's
Yeah.
incredible. And obviously, when I mentioned that you're out on the road, you've already said about it. The Toadies is going to be so cool, right? Like when
Hmm.
you are on the road and you are out on tour, because this is quite a while. How do you
Hmm.
like? This is such a random question, but how do you like to pack? Like, what's the essential you can't live without? And I'm not talking about like your toothpaste and stuff like. Is there anything
Right.
that you kind of go right when I leave home and I'm on the road? I need this. I cannot live without this. Like, how does packing work for you?
It's like it's a mix, really. You gotta be balanced on the road. So for me, I have my set in stone show outfits that I wear. I have them together. There's probably like three or four that I wear, which can get pretty nasty because every venue has laundry and you're on the. So I've
Uh-huh.
been from that playing in my own sweat from the past week, but we
Rock and
have our
roll.
Hmm.
that's all I say. And then
Yeah.
we have our, citizen clothes, and then our essentials, like I'm really into skincare, so I have all my skincare, I have my toothbrush, the essentials, and that's really it. And then you also have to have your instrument. I bring an acoustic guitar all the time, so I have
Mm.
something to noodle on, to write on, because I feel like that's like more powerful than my phone. Is like I need that stimulation, and it just comes from the guitar for me. So
Yeah.
always have an acoustic guitar with me at all times.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. On the road, I kind of turn into like a machine, like a robot, because it's like I'm the one that's using my voice every single night, and
Of
like
course.
there's
Yeah.
like the dynamics of our show. It's like there's a lot of screaming and
Mm.
stuff, so like that's like a really good way to just like blow your voice out. So I pack like a cool steam humidifier. I have like Manuka honey with like really high. I think it's called like MGO or something. I don't know.
There's a
I
lot
have
around.
like, yeah, no, I know. I have like these like non-menthol honey drops, and like I have a saline nebulizer that I do. It's just like
Yeah.
genuinely, it's like I treat myself like a machine on tour. Like no drinking alcohol, no smoking, no doing anything other than water. You got liquid IV, just being super hydrated. Obviously, way too many bathroom stops because of that. But like, it's just like, yeah, yeah, I'm like full blown,
Oh, for
fully
sure.
operational on tour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is tough for a singer because
Hmm.
you are your instrument, whereas with your kid and you get to pick up your guitar, and as long as your fingers are working, you should be fine. You should be good to go.
Yeah.
So, it is tough for you, Parker, and like I'm
Hmm.
just curious, like this is not like a negative, but how do you
Uh-huh.
kind of keep your morale up on the road on the in-between moments? Because if you are the one that's really having to extra look after yourself, like you obviously
Hmm.
do, like I can imagine like sometimes like you've got to be careful like not to build up any resentment towards other members because they can like have a bit more freedom to stay up
Yeah.
later and do what they want to do, and you sometimes feel a little bit more like reserved and locked away.
Yeah. I mean, luckily my band is like super understanding of like
Yeah.
how, aggressively I attack, my routine and all that stuff. So like, no, they're honestly like super like on board with it, and we're very responsible on the road. So I don't really run into any of those crazy things. Like to me, it's like it's a mindset. Like it's a responsibility that I've always been, taxed with. So I don't really know anything different. And for the guys to like go off and have fun or drink or, you know, go and do whatever they want in that way, I don't really think anything of it because it's like this is my responsibility.
Yeah.
I don't hold any like grudge to my band, like I can't do that, but they can. Like I don't, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because at the end of tour on that last show, I'm going crazy.
Oh,
So
of course.
yeah, I have something to look forward to, So
Exactly. You can really build up the anticipation. It can just be a
yeah,
big blast for you at the end. That's so cool. And
yeah.
I just love that about your band, like that professionalism, and it's really paying
Mm.
off because you're doing incredible things. Will we be seeing you here in the UK anytime soon? Will you be bringing that energy over to this side of the planet?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I know there's definitely been talk. We have a wonderful team that is like always in the works, to trying to get us the next best thing. And UK and just a Europe tour in general has been, talked around the office and passed around. So
Oh,
yeah, it's definitely not off the table.
okay, that's exciting. Something to look forward to. Is that
Oh
something that
yeah.
you've always wanted to do? Obviously, I can imagine being in a band, you don't just want to play where
Mhm.
you're from, you want to travel around. And where is on your bucket list at the moment?
It's pretty up there. I mean,
Yeah.
we've
Mhm.
technically been out of the country. I think I was like in Mexico at one point on a cruise, but like I don't know. Like I've never flown out of the country to a place to play. But in that same breath, like I also feel like the UK has such a artistic integrity about themselves and really like cares about the music. And nothing against America. I just
Mhm.
it's a completely different place, and I just think it would be so cool to
Yeah.
like spread our music around. I think they'd appreciate it and we'd appreciate it as well. So
For sure. I
Yeah.
can vouch
It's
for
super. Yeah.
all of us that we want you here.
Yeah. No, we definitely on top of the bucket list is doing a UK tour. Like I went to Norway not too long ago. I know it's not the UK, but
Yes,
still
like
like,
Europe. UK Europe tour,
yeah,
that'd be great.
yeah, like Norway was so cool. And then I went back to like the United States and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sick of, Taco Bell and McDonald's and all this other stuff. Like they have it out there, but like,
I was gonna say, I don't want to break it to you and hurt your heart, but we do have that here.
no, I know, but I love Europe. Like it's very
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, we
Hmm.
have got a lot of history and
Hmm.
historical buildings and so much
Yeah.
music history and fun things to do. So yeah, that'd be really cool. And I know you mentioned Norway. Have you seen all that stuff about like the football and all that Viking Row and stuff?
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
that's so viral right now. I have to
Yeah.
mention it to you.
I
I'm
know.
not even a football lover to be honest, but I was well into all that stuff. So
No,
it's
it
like
was it
so
was
fun.
super cool. I kind of stopped watching the World Cup honestly after Mexico and Norway lost. I'm like, I
Right.
don't have anything to watch this for now,
Nothing
so
else.
it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I wasn't like patriotic when the United States lost because I'm
Mm.
like, man, this just ain't our sport. You know what I mean? So,
It's
but
okay. You can't have everything.
yeah, exactly.
No, it was
Yeah.
yeah, it was one of those moments I think where just like I think you couldn't help but get caught up on it online.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking about online stuff, I mean, like you've already mentioned it, Kaden, about you being that Gen Z generation, where you all are so down with like technology and all that. I mean, I'm just tipping a bit of both. I was born in 1996, so I'm a millennial technically, but a month or two later and I would have actually been a Gen Z. So I'm like one of those people that's like in the middle. But for you, obviously growing up being in a band in that generation where online is so important and stuff and it's a really big platform for music right now, I do feel and sense from you guys that you have got old souls in there too, and that I know in interviews have mentioned about vinyls and cassettes being things that you enjoy still.
Mhm.
How important is it for you as a younger band to keep that kind of physical media alive and well, that physical
Mhm.
music alive and well? Because you do it with music videos as well, which I think is so cool.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's important.
Um,
I also think like physical music now is such a like a thing of the past, but now at this point it's a little more of like a merchandise type of thing is how I look at it. Like you don't even necessarily need to have a record player to collect vinyl, but even if you do have a record player, you could play it anytime. But I do think it's important to kind of keep that. And I think me and Parker do have old souls just by what we've grown up listening to. And like, I think we're just very aware of the world around us and with like all the things that our generation does that may not be so sustainable. You know, I think we were born into a lot of different things. You have to be careful to not fall too deeply into.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a conscious effort every day, and I think I just vouch for people trying to live in the present and just being here, not being so disconnected, like through all the things that are around us. You know, like we weren't responsible for what we were born into, but like you are responsible for how you respond to it. And like for us, that's just been music. Like that's the way that we kind of escape that whole like thing, you know. But I think there's great art being created by this generation, and I just think people are going to start embracing it more as we kind of grow older and take over this whole kind of scene.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Every generation takes over the next generation, eventually. There might be, when Gen Z feels they're at the top of their game, there's going to be another generation sneaking in that just be like, dude, you're too old, get out of here, So that's just how it's always been.
Yeah, it hurts as it's happening, but it's gonna happen. It's inevitable, right?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I just mentioned as well about the music videos. I really love the fact that you guys are doing the music videos, keeping that long form kind of content alive and well. And Baby Doll in particular is like one of my favorites. I mean, just that whole vibe of that video is just like watching a mini movie. It's so cool. How DIY are you with those videos? Like, who comes up with all the ideas? Like, how much of a band effort is it?
We definitely, I mean, it's like everybody's on board. Everybody's on the same page. We have like a wonderful producer in Los Angeles that just works with us, like gruelingly. This guy definitely has our vision in mind. And, I mean, it was a late night. It was at a gas station that we rented. It was in Malibu, and it was the only one that we could find. And there was like people walking in and out of our shot, like as we were trying to film. It was just like, it was so weird. There would be like people like pulling up in like Escalades, and like their chauffeurs would open the door, and like these rich people would like walk out into our shot. And I'm like, how do you not tell that we are in the middle of shooting something right now? But no, it's funny. We were there from like 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. shooting that music video.
Wow.
And it was like super cool. But yeah, a lot of thought went into it, and we had a really good team.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell for sure. And I can't even imagine what that looked like. I mean, the masks even that you're wearing, they definitely must have been able to tell you were doing something at least.
Yeah, it was cool.
We really had to put on like our acting hats for that.
Oh, yeah. I think you've got to wear different hats, haven't you, in a band these days? It's not just being a musician anymore, is it? You've got to do so many things. But just kind of to wrap up, I could talk to you about it for forever, but I've just got a couple of final questions just to kind of ask you. I just wondered if you could leave a message for your future selves that you were to look back on and listen to yourself, tell yourself something. What would you say to future you?
I would say to never back down from what you truly desire, and to never get caught up in the short term, and always look to the future for everything. I think that's where everything lies, and I hope that you are doing good and that you have achieved everything that you have wanted, that you truly desire. That's what I would say to myself.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I don't have one that's that, poetic. I'd just be like, man, if you're still anxiety ridden older, you need to get a grip, dude. Like, yeah, I mean, just lock in. That's my thing. Stop living the moment, live in the now, and stop caring about, what other people think. I feel like I need to work on that, and hopefully, I'll be there in the future.
Oh, for sure. In 50 years' time, I'll be forwarding you these little links you've made to each other, and
Yeah.
You can rewatch them and see where you're at. No,
Yeah.
but it's like it's so cool to see what you're up to, and I'm so excited. I mean, I encourage everybody who's listening and watching right now to please go and pre-order, pre-save the brand new EP. It's the 18th of September, of course. It's Trace It Back, so you need to go out there and get Olive Vox's brand newbie. There's Hear Me Out as well, the single right now, isn't there, that people can listen to?
Oh, yeah.
And another music video with that. So plenty for them to be enjoying, and I will keep playing you on the New Rock Show. Just before I let you go, have you got a message you would love to send out to Olive Vox fans? Anybody that's been supporting you, following you along the way?
Yeah. Thank you so much for all the support throughout the years. This has been, a bumpy road. And for those who have, tagged along with us, we truly appreciate you. And if there's anybody that hasn't seen us live, I encourage you to come see us live, because I feel like that is, the truest form of our band that you can experience. So
I love that.
I just want to say thank you to all you guys who have stuck around through this time of us finding our sound and finding an audience, because we may not be at the size of other artists, but it is so important, the people who are here right now. And I just want to say thank you to all of you guys who have enjoyed the music, and you're truly the reason we keep going. And just, it means so much. It means the world.
Yeah.
Caden, Parker, thank you so much to both of you for your time today. It's been a real pleasure, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come and talk to me. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.